Welcome, ladies and gents, to another day. It's day 2 of week 3 here at ECS Season 7, and we are coming at you live from Santa Monica. Of course, you can see Ferris wheel, the lovely little pier, the waves, the beaches, the happy people, and some more happy people.
Happy people.
I'm DDK, this is Bez. Welcome back once again.
We're in California. There's no happy people here.
Are you sure?
We just look happy on Instagram. That's how it works.
All right. Well,
sorry to spoil that for the outsiders not living in California.
I thought that was more Hollywood's. Is that east? We're like west. It's considered west side, right? Obviously, because
we're right by the coast. We're right
by
there.
The coast.
Right by the water at the pier. We're here.
A lot of people from Los Angeles, they say that they didn't like the west side.
I don't know why.
What do you think about that?
They're weird.
They're weird.
They're weird. That's
well,
it. That's all I got.
We did 4 best 3s yesterday. If you guys missed us, we completed the quarterfinals, but let's check out the format to really have a good and close look at exactly how things go down here at ECS. Of course, we have a new system this season, and it's been a hot minute since we played out some weeks. So to remind you, it's a single elimination best of 3. So that's just one bracket, best 3s all the way. If you lose the best 3, you're out. But I think that's pretty fair. And the winner, this is the last week actually, where the winner of the respective region, whether it be North America or Europe, will actually qualify directly to that. The rest of the weeks, the remaining weeks, will be about the prize money that you accrue. And so that's going to be interesting because some teams have missed some weeks, and notable names like Team Liquid, for example, are definitely on our minds when it comes to that. But we can move forwards and check out the bracket and see how things have turned up, or how things turned up yesterday when we played out all those matches. We see all the quarterfinals there. OpTic besting G2 2-0. I don't know if do you have any takeaways from some of the matches that we watched? Obviously, we didn't watch all 8 games, but
OpTic looked really awesome. Config was hitting his shots. A lot of people, MSL looked like he had a complete game plan. I thought G2 would do a lot better against OpTic. I actually picked G2 to win because they were playing pretty well before that match. But OpTic came. They had a game plan. They just dismantled G2 and made them look not like noobs, but they lost. They lost bad.
Yes, they did. And we can see Avangar, of course. I think they're going to be a pretty interesting look here for today. We can see that's on the fixture here, OpTic versus Avangar. And they're always a fun one to watch. They had such close runs, deep runs in the first couple of weeks. So they must be so hungry to just finally get it done. And they'll be against OpTic here to move forwards. And this should be the best possible route for them, in theory, because they had to go for Astralis on week 1, and they almost actually did it. They actually came close to beating them, which is kind of cool to see, and gives me a lot of confidence in their overall ability. So looking forward to seeing what Avangar have to bring to the table. Let's check out the social media. Of course, you guys need to join in the conversation, and at ECS on Twitter is one way that you can do that with the hashtag ECS7. Of course, the other socials are there at the bottom of the screen, and you can go check that out and ask us questions if you want. And hopefully people will feed it back to us if we don't check ourselves and tag us in. And of course, the other thing we have to think about is now we're getting closer and closer to, well, I say finalizing. There's still some weeks left to be played, but if you want to get those early bird tickets, go ahead to ecs.faceit.com and grab yourself some tickets for Wembley. It's the home of ECS. It's where we've really started to make a name for the brands, and in UK home soil. And Wembley, I think the fans there they're really hungry for it. It's one of those regions where it didn't have that CS event, but there was so much demand for it. And then as soon as it happened, everyone was so happy. Like when you were there in the crowd and you're meeting random people, you can just make friends. Anyone you speak to will become your friends in a good way.
It's a fun place.
In a good way.
It's a fun place. Everyone's there together, some camaraderie, and it's awesome. It's like a live sporting event almost.
Absolutely.
Esports.
Yeah, great camaraderie. I agree. Now we need to figure out if there's going to be camaraderie here on desk and behind the camera as well, because we're going to be starting to talk about the matchup, and eventually we'll get into the predictions. But first, we have to go to the veto to really start to understand where our predictions may go, because this should be a pretty close affair, I would imagine, between these two teams. Lots of potential. OpTic, of course, a newer team as opposed to Vanguard, who have been around for quite some time, and obviously they've been doing pretty damn well. So you'd expect that their map pool should be pretty. I would say it should be pretty good, pretty deep, pretty wide.
Lots of op maps right here. You see 3 op maps, so this is kind of good for Vanguard. Vanguard always goes for that first ban nuke, at least recently. Who knows, they might change in the future, but nuke's out of there, and you got Dust too. I mean, Jamie's such a solid opper. He could change it up. He could play really slow. I mean, he's known for kind of staying back a little bit, but I've seen on maps like Train where he could just take shots. He puts himself in those spots where he wants to make the play. So if MSL can see this on, from optics, they could try to abuse that, because it's kind of similar to Kenny S in some ways, where he's peaky, he's pushy, he wants to be explosive, and Jamie can mix that in, but he also can play super passive and just be really annoying with that op, where you don't want to go slow against an opper that changes it up, like, they sometimes on train they're Ivy, sometimes they're inside, sometimes they're push ladder, something random. And it's very difficult just to keep doing slow defaults or taking it slow. So I want to see what kind of approach MSL is going to take against Jamie and Avangar.
And I think that for me, it's fair to say that, or I feel like it's fair to say from what I've seen of Avangar, that tactically they're pretty on point. They've got great utility usage. They set each other up very well. Very much a team's team. Very much a team play oriented. So we'll go into the predictions now and see where the land lies on this one.
Oh man, yesterday was really bad for me on predictions. I think I was 1 for 3, but today, man, Avangar. I mean, with Avangar and Sanji, like, just really coming to light in his last tournament and kind of a breakthrough tournament, Avangar looked really good, but then again, OpTic looked amazing yesterday too against G2. So I have to go with OpTic. I have to go with OpTic in this one.
Wow, okay.
2-1. Let's just say 2-1. It's going to be a close one.
Yes, yeah. I think it has the potential to be very close. I'll go with the Vanguard myself.
Okay, there you go. That's good. What do you think?
Where you at?
Go with a Vanguard as well.
Sliggy for a Vanguard.
Sliggy with a Vanguard. Maybe you guys know something. I don't.
And James Bardoff is on a plane right now. So
Yeah.
he's, I presume he's still on the plane.
Put him in OpTic.
Apparently he's sitting next to Zac Efron.
I wonder if they talked. I want to know what they talked about.
Who knows?
Later today.
We'll find out. The story will be unfolding when James arrives. He'll be here for the second best of 3, I believe. So
that's what he said. So I don't know. I can't really trust him. Really.
Yeah. Oh well, we are straight into the actions. No messing around. We'll have to do the pinnacle betting as the match does go forwards. We see that OpTic are on that CT side of Dust2 and Config yesterday on Dust2. If you watched those matches, you'll remember that Config was what does that say? Config was Config.
He was on fire.
Yeah, he was just shooting heads all over the place.
Also, Refresh was holding it down too. I forgot to mention about Refresh in that B bomb site, just ogging it all day. He loves the og.
Yeah, he definitely does. Fitch will find 1 kill. That's pretty awesome, especially with over minutes left. They can gather up now and see the ways in which they can exploit what should now be a hole in the defense. OpTic obviously have to rotate, and you can see that MSL goes and tries to get some info, and he's punished in the most brutal sense. He'll lose his life, and that's now a 3 versus 5. The problem compounds here for OpTic. They need something special, and Config's still alive. Snappy was a beast yesterday as well, although he's dead. Maybe it is all on Config.
Oh.
Maybe that's fine. Seems like it's fine.
It's a very interesting spot right there, and Config does take out 2. But gets shot from the side. Oh, another headshot from Config. Finally get taken out by Sanji, and what looked like a round for a Vanguard. It's a 1-on-2 now. Up to Refresh. He does have a kit and armor, so this is very doable.
That's kind of cool, like a kit and a flash just there ready and waiting for him. And here he goes, runs in, spots 1 by Goose. Or Graffiti, whatever you call it these days. And Refresh has to check everything, doesn't know exactly where both players, well, the second player is. He knows one's on the site. Now he's spotting them both. Flashbang out. And cross your fingers and see what you can do. Refresh with the first kill there. Sanji going down. Can Buster save it? No, he can't. And the kit's there. Config. Wow, what a massive pivot due to Config's 3K. Refresh with the clutch. As you said, you set it up. You said that Refresh, he's the new man. He's the guy to have the eyes on here for OpTic. And, well, he's starting things off well.
He got a little bit of heat for FPL months back, but as a player, he seems like he's doing really. I mean, his aim is phenomenal, and he plays smart. And in this situation, Avangar, or I guess for this pistol, they gave him up 3 kills almost, and then as you saw, Config just kind of turn it around. But then Avangar, like, why did that happen? They were so spread out after the kills instead of regrouping and try to maybe wide swing with 2-3 people instead of 1 by 1 like that in Catwalk, as we saw. So you got kills. Just slow down, group up, and then go. Don't just kind of trickle in to these choke points, because at the level like this, as you saw, Config just headshot fools.
What was the heats?
Bring the heat.
For Refresh, what was that you referenced in FPL? I don't know, I just don't know. Is it not safe for streaming? Or what's going on?
No, it was just he wasn't trying in a pug, and a lot of people got upset at him because you don't want to throw or I don't know. It was just like he was upset that day and just
Oh, okay.
took it out in the bug. It's not that serious.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see Vanguard slowly making their way up catwalk, and the A-bomb side is pretty open at the moment. I mean, they don't know it, but they could just walk in, and they might. It looks like they might just do that actually, which is kind of genius. They're actually contacting this.
It's really hard to get up catwalk without being spotted, and then finally they get spotted. MSL gonna back off a little bit, create some space. Snappy takes out Sanji out long. This one gives a lot of space for OpTic to work with. They could stay long, they could let them take A. The Bob will be going down for Vanguard. 2 kills are exchanged, 1 for each team. And oh, Vanguard looks like they might be running away with this on this force buy.
Yeah, this is looking beautiful so far, and wow. Spray down won't work out there for Keycut, but it was a pretty close effort. They get another bomb plant, so there is absolutely an argument to go for another force buy, honestly. And what I really like about the catwalk play is that I think that the decision was probably partially motivated by the fact that typically on rounds like this, you know, you're kind of afraid as a CTs to kind of give up long. So you know, the thing that you can more easily give up is catwalk and allow a bomb plant to go down. Like, you don't mind that as much. So it's kind of cool that they understand that that's the most likely open position for free, and you kind of gamble it and contact it. And they got pretty far. They got a bomb down. They got a almost a favorable after plant there. So I would say so.
It's also pretty impressive to sneak up catwalk on a map like Dust 2, where people are always constantly peeking through middle, hopping around. So Vanguard just found that timing window, because I mean, you see right there, it's kind of trying to spot catwalk, smoke off, try to look above the smoke. So it was a nice little call by Vanguard. We've been seeing a lot of teams force buying on second round consistently, especially yesterday. So the meta is kind of shifting again back to force buying on that second round.
I think on T side Dust 2 as well, it's like it does make a lot of sense. It's pretty hard to get stuff done on the CT side, but there's some kills coming out from MSL, taking initiative towards catwalk. Kurt's asking questions, and on Dust 2, honestly, just one AK. When it like a CT, one or C2 CTs are dead, there's so many holes. It's such an open map. The AK can be particularly devastating. It's like when you have an AWP in this position. If you have an AWP 1 versus 3 on a lot of maps on the T side, it feels like you're kind of screwed. But on Dust 2, there's so many options because it's so often the case that you can find that one kill, that 1 versus 1 that you really need. And the problem is that the bomb is just, I mean, if he decides to go through long now, that's going to be quite a problem because Snappy's there waiting. In fact, Snappy's going to push.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's the one thing that could have gone the way for Avangar to allow them to help win this round. And
What?
MSL, he's looking towards catwalk. He doesn't suspect that already the side has been taken. And Refresh once again in the clutch.
It's a greedy play right there from Nico at long. That's, I mean, it's a 3-on-2. Like what?
Snappy.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
My bad. Snappy, not Nico.
Yeah.
Snappy push out long. I mean, it's a 2-on-3 situation, and you're just pushing. Like 30 seconds left. Come on.
Refresh with the kit though. Maybe he can save the day again. But this is a more difficult one for sure. Head spotted. Oh, he's been dinged instantly. That's a wrap.
That's kind of a blunder, man.
That is, yeah, for sure. I think you're completely right. But that's the thing, is that sometimes when you just hold and just wait, people make mistakes.
Yeah, very just an impatient play, and I mean it gave a round for Vanguard and a little bit of space, and now OpTic is on the save. They're going to have to force buy because it's going to be a double save most likely. So get some scouts, get a deagle, some armor. James is going to try to whack-a-mole here in middle and takes out MSL. Trying to, was he trying to peek with that UMP down there? Crazy.
That looks on. That looks on. Why is there no damage? Why is there no damage? I don't understand.
I don't understand the one either. It looks like 3 shots were right on his body, but
Yeah.
what can you do?
Config gets the headshot. But that's an important one. Keycurt takes on Snappy. Opens up the A-long position. That's really important, especially when you lose a player. Like, if you're able to gain some map control from positioning for that loss of a player, then that's going to be able to make up for it. It's kind of like everything is a resource, I think is one way to think about it. Map positioning on the map, space on the map is a resource, just as a player and utility or weapons might be a resource as well. So
That's what war is all about, man.
trade one for the other, and that's okay. But if you give it up for free, that's not okay.
Fig's in a odd spot here. He's probably going to get Molotov right now. Vanguard has 4 Molotovs, but I don't think they want to give their position away. They were spotted, so no point of just hiding and walking. You have to maybe clear out car here in a second. Config, he might be able to get sneak 2 kills here if he's good enough. And just like that, Config not checking spot from a Vanguard. Cost him 2 kills and a 3rd kill from Config through the smoke.
Okay, this is not looking very good, is it? Keycurt, last man left with the AWP. Config looks unstoppable here. The scout trying to bait. He just has a crazy sense, a clairvoyant knowledge of exactly what's going on. Looking for the peek, trying to bait it out with the shoulder angle, and he goes for the wide peek, and Keycurt takes him out, stops him, but Refresh again in the clutch. Again, but this time on the side. This time favorable in that position. And Config, what is this? Who is this human? Is he human? Is he a human?
He is an incredible aim, that's for sure. But I mean, again, this is like a huge blunder for a Vanguard. We saw 4 Molotovs on their body. Why would you never ever check car? Obviously, they wanted to not give away their positions. But if you throw 1 Molotov, that's not giving away that much information. Maybe okay, there's 1 person long. They're on a 4 spy. They don't have good guns. They don't have good utility. It's okay if they know you're coming in that situation. You get out aim them. You get outgun them. Just don't get 3 easy. Well, not. It was actually 1 or 2 easy kills and 1 really, really good shot at Catwalk, but still, gotta be thorough. You gotta, you know, it's a force save. Expect people to be lurking here and there, especially at a common spot like car.
Yeah, I agree. It's certainly one small thing, and sometimes it's just the one small thing that loses you the rounds. Avangar, though, you know, they've got a lot of promise in this round as well. In the AWP still on Jame. That's a pretty deep molly to allow him to peek more safely, understand which angles that he needs to look at.
He's out.
Oh, okay.
He's back.
They're all going to walk in now. Really interesting stuff here. And Config's ready and waiting. And, well, we have no reason to doubt Config as he sits around the car doing his best work so far around the cars in this game of Dust 2. On A, on B, just give him a car and he's off. Off to the races.
I want a team to, like, I want to see a Dust 2 team that's really good at taking B. I feel like B is such a hard site to take as T because there's just so many ways the CTs can just stop a rush, counter flash, toss Molotovs to slow you down, and it takes so much utility and manpower for the Ts to get through those B tunnels. And it's just, I don't know, man.
I mean, it's just a case that you need to either get a pick first or, you know, it's got to be a B split. B splits are insanely powerful.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, obviously it's one of the more common strats on the map, and it works. It's one of the staple strats on Dust 2 are B splits. You have to have a good B split if you want to be good in Dust 2.
I kind of like that it's harder to take B from like just one avenue because it's the small site and the rotations are so long. I feel like it would be too punishing.
Yeah.
If it was a lot easier. So punishing for the CTs. I think the discussion around like the idea of map balance, I don't like that as much. I just like what creates like the best overall gameplay. Because sometimes you can have a map which is like very one-sided to a team, but the gameplay can actually be quite good, or there could be a lot of innovation that's possible.
Old school Cabo. I mean, you get 2 rounds on T side, you're set. And those create interesting, fun games. Well, old school. Like I'm talking about 1.6, sorry. Yeah. Where 2 rounds was great.
Yeah, like train as well. You get 1 round, yeah, that's fine.
It's fine, guys. Don't worry about it.
This is about average.
The Buster gives away his spot on Catwalk. James gonna try to sneak through the middle here. He does take out Config. Long range to CT spawn. Buster's gonna try a 2-prong attack, but no. Snappy has a word with that, saying no. But look at this. B's kind of wide open for Jamie, but with only 9 HP, very long way to get the bomb. Try to cross these doors without being shot 3 times. And, okay, just going to AK that. All the way across. There's no scope on the AK. And 5-1. OpTic leading. We saw this yesterday against G2, where G2 had this like the first 4 or 5 rounds on Dust 2, they were force buying. And it's almost kind of like the similar way of on this map with the Vanguard. They pretty much force bought like the first 3-4 rounds, and it's almost like a similar kind of game plan as what G2 is doing.
This door's a metal just for James. No one else. I'll start giving away his position there with the AWP. And just repositioning straight away. It's a good way to do it. Okay, well that's actually a very common angle.
Ooh.
And this has not gone well for a Vanguard. That slither gap where you're sort of towards CT spawn for the CT, that's a really common angle for the CTs to catch you crossing to Xbox, and then you have your a teammate if you're playing that setup where you pull one guy out from B, looking towards the Xbox and catwalk, and it's quite punishing if you're a team playing a slow default.
Yeah, it can be.
Because you catch those players coming out the tunnels.
Especially if you're not taking some necessary precautions of either like smoking mid or flashing over just to kind of push people back a little bit, make them uncomfortable so they can't just sit there and wait at a sliver angle to pick you off if you're trying to cross. 35 seconds left here. 3 on 5 of Avangar. It's going to have to try to force something here at B, but Refresh is set up for any B take. But that doesn't matter because Buster will just take off his head. Config, though, takes one back at the car. Takes 2 from Sanji. Now Jameser is going to have to save here. 10 seconds left, but I don't think OpTic's going to let him save. I think I see a person flanking T-spawn here. And it's Snappy. Oh, this is going to suck for Jamie. Oh, and loses the gun, doesn't get the money. He has $0. 0. That's... Oh my goodness, that sucks. But nice round from Config. So far we've seen Config everywhere. He's just kind of been the floater, middle, long.
Wait.
What?
He's 17 for 5.
Yeah, he's everywhere.
7 rounds.
He's literally everywhere. He's been just shooting people. And it's kind of like the same thing yesterday. Config was going off. This is Config's map, it seems like. I'm gonna start.
Oh, he's hunting as well.
You should start baiting Dust 2 against OpTic, folks.
He's just a predator right now. He's just hunting, stalking his prey. He's not really playing Counter-Strike. He's just
trying to find where they live.
He understands.
It's predator stuff, man.
Exactly how they're moving around. It's breaking formation to hunt down his prey. Apex predator.
I have a little deja vu right there. Whoa, that was weird.
Oh yeah?
I felt like I had deja vu where
Config's
I said something and Config responded to me on Twitter. For some reason, I don't know why. That's a lot of ADR. A lot of ADR from Config.
That's something, isn't it? Oh, just let that be headshot.
Oh my goodness. Another kill from
everyone
Config.
Everyone else just go CT spawn, play the old Iron Man strat. You just send Config out there.
The Gladiator. I feel like this is almost like a deathmatch right here. At least deathmatch for OpTic, just for kind of running around and peeking at will. Usually it's a little scary on a map like Dust 2 with his oppers, especially Jamie, who's pretty good at opping. Shouldn't be so comfortable peeking long-range angles like OpTic has been doing, but if you're 19-5 in the 8th round, you're going to have to do something to stop the confidence of Config, because he's not going to stop if he keeps getting the kills.
He's really just taking kills away from everyone else on his team as well. Like no one else is allowed to have a good performance. I mean, no one else needs to have a... Well, I say that, but Config's, there's been some clutch situations in which he has completely swung the map.
Yeah.
There's 2 rounds that guaranteed would have gone to a Vanguard and probably economic control and probably more rounds. It'd probably be like, a 4... No, actually like a 6-2 scoreline for a Vanguard. That was like a world that could exist.
Yeah.
Could have existed because of the nature of the rounds in which Config swung. Like he swung around on an eco. And he's... Actually, no, it was
a pistol,
the pistol and then the force buy, right?
Yeah, force buy. 2
yeah,
rounds
later on.
where you had a huge impact. And look at this here. It's going to be kind of a cat... We have... I think Jamie No, we have Fitch in the middle. Kind of just lurking, trying to get the rotates here, but Config is going to be on top of it. Not a good smoke to push through, so Fitch is going to fall back, trying to take his time. And Jamie posted up an MSL, not a good peek. Getting caught out there. But Avangar is not going to commit just yet. Molotov slows them down, and OpTic with really good utility usage. Nico missing the shot on Buster, and this allows Vanguard just to rush up Cat and start taking over the site.
So it's another spot where it's like, well, can Config save you again? Because he's trying, but
No.
the smoke is not going to work favorably for him, and that's got to be a wrap here for this round for OpTic.
Yeah, OpTic's game plan right now is try to get as many exit kills as possible, make it expensive, lose guns. You're up 7-1, plenty of money. I mean, 7 rounds on CT Dust 2 is still pretty good. And that's a little cherry on top right there.
Just looks away at the wrong moment. How many rounds can Config save us? Well, it's... I wouldn't even be too surprised to see this. Well, there is an AWP on Vanguard, so I don't know if they'll go for it, but we saw that MSL and Config in the previous Dust 2 yesterday, they actually pushed lower dark and mid together. MSL with the AWP and Config with a rifle. It'll be interesting to see that again. Wow.
That was the easiest off kill that you can get.
What was MSL? Was he just waiting to peek or something? He's waiting to go for a peek?
I think he was either waiting for a pop flash peek or the rundown. You know, because sometimes people run down, but Jamie got there a little quicker than normal because usually Oppers kind of tends, sit in T spawn a little bit, but Jamie pushed up a little bit, so.
He ran down suicide. The fast timing.
Definitely an off angle and good timing by Jamie. But OpTic, they're just turning this around. Their A defense is on point, and if Vanguard can't break through here. Oh, that didn't. That looked like it was going to bounce a little more forward from his point of view.
Config looking for the AK-47. Will not get it, but he does get 20 kills.
Give him the AK.
And actually, last couple rounds, Config hasn't actually, I think, got more than 1 kill. So he's still on 20. It's so weird. It's so funny to look at the rest of his team's kills. It's funny. Anyway, we shouldn't really obsess too much with kills, but we'll see where that story goes. Still a potential for him to get even more in this half. We'll see. As long push comes in, and Refresh will take down Sanji. And so they've pretty much stopped this in its tracks.
Yeah, OpTic has a really good long hold at CT. They chain their flashes that allows their player to get to pit a lot of the times, as you see, which is really good. I mean, you have to have a good anti-long take because as T's, it's so easy to take out long. You throw smokes, you throw flash, you at least get the blue bin. You can't stop that for the most part, but you could split up the team, cut them off, because if you do this a couple rounds where you're splitting up the T's team as you're retaking long, it's and keep getting kills, they're going to be discouraged from trying that same strat over and over. So.
And into Config they will go. Config has been playing the B-bomb sites. Let's find his first one. Oh, the spray looking good here for additional damage there. Buster's tagged up. He's going to try to push through, but MSL covers it. And there's not really much for them to do at this point. Where do they go? I mean, it's... Again, I make the point before it's Dust 2, but at this point the bomb is lost. So without any bomb, you don't really have a chance. Because there's not enough time to find the eliminations.
Yeah.
So that's going to be that. They'll save it into the next round. And I do feel like Vanguard have been a little unlucky in some senses. I don't think the series is by any stretch of the imagination over. The map might be a bit difficult now, but it's all really been about Config's clutches. Like, the damage that he's done in certain rounds has been irreparable, and
He's been, well, I mean, just look at his kills. His ADR has been a huge impact in the game. But OpTic's game plan in general is really good. I mean, they're proactive on CT. They're always changing up their spots, playing 2 middle, maybe 2, 3 long in some rounds. And, there's 2 B when they hit B. Every time Vanguard has hit B, there's been 2 OpTic people in B. And usually that's, and you think, oh, well, there's 2B, then maybe mid is weak or A is weak or whatnot. But then when they hit A or mid, there's 2 people mid. There's like OpTic is reading Vanguard so well, and it's very good game plan. I like it.
Indeed. Config back in middle now. Him and MSL are swapping between. Oh, actually, no, it's refresh on B now. They've been swapping their CD subs a lot. Config's in mid and B, in mid and B. And now he's being taken down. It looks like he's been put on a bit of a cooler. Refresh though, been pretty consistent on that B defense, but this time he'll be taken down and there's a clean opening. And finally, a Vanguard
Put the bombs in the middle.
Pretty good position.
The bomb is literally in the middle, so it's going to take some time.
CTs are so far away, they don't want it.
So it's not going to affect Vanguard too much. It was one of like the worst situation. You have a bomb site, the upper with the bombs on the other side of the map.
This really goes to show as well the difference between this map and a map like even Inferno, another map which has quite punishing rotations. The rotations are so punishing on this map, even with all the money that OpTic have, even though we're almost at the end of the first half, they still don't care to even think about going for this, even before the bomb's been planted. Not even thinking about it. And that just shows you again, it's a demonstration of how powerful it is if you're able to keep the A players on A, and then you get that fast B attack or B split or something like that, and you just crush the defense. If there's no one in CT for the CT side to do some damage or slow things down or get some information, it's kind of hopeless.
Yeah. As you said, the rotations are really long, and it's can easily be abused in that middle, especially by the double doors. You can have people lurking Xbox, lower tone. They can listen on the rotates, they can call numbers. They can backstab you when you try and go to B, or rotate back to A.
Like your rotations are not protected, I guess. Like Inferno, it's like you're just in the open, right?
Yeah, it's just so many ways where T's can just sneak on through and lurk and really take advantage of that. So you can't just continually over-rotate. You have to be smart about it, have a game plan, events of time. And Fitch, look at this, already up catwalk without, I don't think he's been spotted, so he can keep working this. Nico, though, I mean, the timing, OpTic knows the timing, so even if a person rushed up cat, they probably know that there's a possibility that someone could be up there. Again, Vanguard going slow. It's been pretty much the thing for them on this half so far. Just really slow, methodical. Well, not really methodical, but really slow play. I'm trying to work picks, but it hasn't been working. Try to force up this cat here. Let's see if they throw more flashes this time around. Last time they took cat, I don't think they threw many flashes. They do have 4 to work with, playing Molotovs and smokes, so here it comes. 1 flash.
Coptic survive all the flames. They will push him down, and that's a good set piece coming in. This is what you expect from a Vanguard. They've got great utility usage, as we mentioned before, and OpTic in a sore spot at the moment. They have numbers, but they don't really have position. And they'll start to use their utility. 3 coming from CT is not fantastic. Is there a way for them to make it through onto the site? It's going to be so difficult. They start to come in key, Kurt finds an opening, and now they are dropping like flies, and they're going to back away. So at Vanguard, they've done it once again, even though, you know, this time Config was positioned on the A-bomb site. Again, it's kind of cool how they rotate Config around as though he's a star AWP player, but he's just a rifler. But at the same time, still, like, Config was unable to deal with the utility. And we talked about this yesterday when we had, I think it was INTZ versus ATK, how ATK just couldn't make the stars uncomfortable with their utility usage.
Yeah.
And here we see that's the case. Doesn't matter how good Config is. If you can't see, if he's forced out of position by a Molotov, if there's smoke obscuring his line of fire, then there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, you can. Really a lot harder to hit those shots. Vanguard's showing a little bit of signs of life here. Changing the base up, Keycourt taking out this long, but I don't think he's going to push it. He's going to take it over. Now they have good control of long. This forces OpTic to kind of retake middle. I like this play. They heard a whole bunch of flashes along, smokes, utility. Why not try to make a move on the other part of the map? Try to get some more map control. And Smartly they do it. You have MSL on Kawak watching Lauren config kind of just in this odd spot here. Might catch someone off guard if they wide swing. Or try to sliver peek that upper and middle. But they're posted up. Sanji's waiting. And this could be a huge flank and config if he times this right, because all of the Vanguard are long. They're all there.
All there. But do not despair, because config is on a fast flank if necessary. You can see him there. But you wouldn't imagine that a Vanguard would give up this amount of the map control and not understand that they've boxed themselves in and that this is a distinct possibility. Keycut's looking for a flank. The problem is, because they have nobody towards any other position, it's a little bit scary because they don't have the ability to gather information and for someone to kind of create questions for the CTs. Right now, CTs know exactly what's going on.
Nice little Molotov to cut off the cat. Haven't seen that one in a while. And here comes the A execute from long. OpTic and Vanguard exchange. Config's going to try to get the flank, but Jamie, he smells him. He's not going to get any kills. And again, it's back and forth here. Still a very close round. The bomb's not been planted. There's 7 seconds left. MSL gets chunked down to 2 HP. But at Vanguard, they are able to get the bomb down. Oh, this nade's going to hit him. And bye-bye MSL. Getting balled in the face. A refresh. Here he is again, Dan.
Yeah, on this A retakes. And he's got a health advantage. He's got a Molotov,
Ooh.
and he, boom, just jumps up on the car. No care in the world. And he's going to do it again.
Interesting angle to hold from just kind of hiding the sight like that. Probably wouldn't be my go-to angle, but doesn't matter. Refresh getting 3 kills in the round, and Vanguard dropping one.
For me, this CT performance, or the result at least, means that I think that, you know, Vanguard will probably lose this map, just because, for me, Vanguard's strength, one of their biggest strengths is the T side. And it's, again, I could have easily have seen this be a favorable scoreline, like an 8-7 or a 9-6 in favor of a Vanguard. But instead, you know, they at best will get 5 rounds here. All because of the ripple effect of config's plays. MSL, though, will be taken down straight away, and with that aggressive play falling flat, now what are you left with? 3 FAMAS and an AUG. It's actually pretty good here for a Vanguard. In that 5v4, how do they decide to capitalize from this advantage?
I think definitely maybe do a B split in some way. They haven't actually even done it once, I don't think. They've even properly done it once, but it doesn't matter because OpTic feels like they have to make moves. They have to try to find some information, but Vanguard capitalizes and get 2 kills. Nico, though, getting a headshot on Sanji. His forced back in CT spawn. Vanguard spilling this bomb site. They are planning for long, and refresh here. Just spot in upper middle, trying to push him back, maybe get the kill. It's the last round, so I mean, OpTic has to go for it. Doesn't look good.
Yeah, it looks pretty clean. Refresh. This time, a 1v5 retake clutch. I don't think it's going to be happening for him this time. We'll see, though, if he can get some damage here. The smokes, all in aids, making it very difficult. And life outs. And there you go. All right, 5-10 finish from a Vanguard. They do get a few rounds at the ends. Could have been a much different game if not for config's incredible performance in the opening 10 rounds. But we'll see if a Vanguard can bring things back on their CT side after the break.
Up and down, around and back again. Year after year. Nobody's gonna save me. Nobody but myself. So I better get to it. Money don't mean shit. All that matters is what I leave behind.
And we're back.
Yes, we are. We're back again with some Counter-Strike coming to you, my Counter-Strike friends. The Vanguard need to come back. They need this pistol to go their way. Last time, config ruined everything. Sanji, nice start there. Repping that P2000.
Oh my goodness, Sanji. So this is what we had to see more of last half.
Switching back.
Because Sanji, he was one of the key reasons that Vanguard was doing so well in Rio. I mean, he just was unstoppable. He has really nice, like, snappy, flicky aim, and as you see right here, he's just hitting headshots. Looks pretty easy. But it's not easy.
It's a P2K commercial from Sanji.
I think he was bottom fragging last half, and so it's never good to see one of your top fraggers, biggest impact fraggers. Oh, he wanted to release that 10 seconds.
Oh, what? The barrel blocked it. That is absolute robbery. I'm uninstalling this game straight away. That should never happen. Someone's clipped that, sent it to Valve.
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday about having nades do some damage through walls. It could be, I mean, not the full damage, obviously, but if a nade goes behind a pebble, it shouldn't block the damage.
Yeah, like penetration. There must be a way to do it. Like just
Oh, there's always
figure
a
it
way.
out.
There's a will, there's a way, Dan.
Figure it out, Valve. Figure it out.
How many days has it been? 239 since we can draw?
Yep.
I'm gonna, in memory of James, 239 days, Valve. Tweet, James Bardoff.
Okay. Long take coming in from OpTic.
Good flashes, continuously flashing as Nico tries to get to the pit. I think he spots him in the smoke. He does, he gets the kill. But the kills are exchanged, and here's the thing with OpTic, we see him yesterday do 5 rifles consistently. Yes, we can see MSL off and stuff, but maybe that's not his go-to gun. And you face a map like Dust 2 where Jamie, his go-to gun is an AWP, that might cause a little problems for OpTic.
Yes. I think it might cause quite a few problems. I'm curious how the styles will match up in this one. On this second half, Avangar, again, another thing that you can really see with Avangar, even though Config had this sort of crazy volcanic performance on the first map, it is something that if you're up against a team that has a structure, that has a game plan, that has routines and drills and protocols, like all these things, experience, it doesn't matter as much. It's like when you play against Astralis, they're one of the best in the business at grinding it out, even with a bad start. Vanguard, can they prove to do the same here? Because here comes the attack. Nice entry kill coming in, as we'll see more damage done to OpTic. They can't make their way forwards. Snappy's the only man standing, and he is no longer a man. He's a memory of a man. A mere memory.
He's a ghost.
Memory reborn, though, as we go into round 19.
Reincarnated to fix his past crimes. He must get an ace. That's the only way he could revive and redeem himself. But maybe not this round with Deagles all across the board for OpTic. Nico buying a little bit extra, getting the armor, bringing his money to 16 hundo. But with that, I guess 3-4 round bonus could happen. But Jamie gets a pick off MSL and smartly falls back because the rest of the team is trying to gun down Jamie. And so far unsuccessful. Oh, 2 HP. Is he going to keep peeking? Doesn't matter because the Vanguard's got his back. Uplifting Jamie.
Sometimes there's an interesting discussion to be had around the fact that if you have a player like Config who does go off so hard on the first half, and the rest of your team doesn't really, except Refresh, the rest of your team doesn't really have that much impact or fragging scenarios, you get a little bit cold sometimes, and so it can kind of backfire a little bit, as you know, some players kind of need to be fragging a little bit to kind of feel it, to feel like they're in the match and to keep the pace up. It's a fantastic HE. That's, wow, that's 98 damage. There you go. That's not bad. My god.
I think it's kind of a botched Molotov. I don't know if it's supposed to kind of reach in that corner, but it didn't. I wonder if they know that. Pitch though, it's going to be kind of just sitting A, playing Looks like more of a bait, kind of waiting for Sanji to spot, and then have some kind of crossfire bait set up here because Keykurt's at Goose. And I do not see Keykurt peeking at all until they cross him. So he's going to wait here. Because there's 4A. I don't think OpTic's going to expect 4 people A, especially 3 on the rail, or A side area.
It's, well, it's such a big deal that the HE did 100 damage across 2 players. We'll see the impacts of that.
So much damage.
Yeah.
No kill.
It's coming though. They haven't made their way across to the bomb plant just yet. There's smokes that they're trying to push past, and now they'll all fall down. It seems like as Sanji lays into them with the Org, and Snappy and MSL are really weak still. And they got to break this position. If they go for a short plant, they're completely dead. If they try to peek and kill Keykurt, they're dead because Sanji will trade. And there you go. It's gonna be smooth sailing. Vanguard look really good. They look really solid right now.
They're looking very good. A lot better than they did on the T side. I think they just had a really slow start. As you said before, Config kind of taking the game in his own hands. I mean, Vanguard was on their way to winning Pistol. They were on their way of, or just doing a lot better, I guess. This Config just had other plans. Let's just say that.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Orcs, AWP, good economy. Very, very good CT economy straight away. Everyone's around 7k except Buster, who's on 1. So OpTic have a lot of work to do, and if they don't get any damage done in this round, it's going to really start to get worse and worse. And James finding himself in all the right positions at all the right times. And that's largely due to the fact that he understands, 1, his opponent's economy and what will be possible from that, and 2, the timings. So he knows he can stay out there for a specific amount of time, gets the 1 kill, falls back, has rifle support, and look at that. This is a 5v3, no problem at all.
2 kills off the start. That's good. And again, we talked about Jamie just having that random explosive elements to his game plan. Yes, he could sit back, but again, as you saw this round, he peeked lower tunnels. Not a very uncommon peek, but still risky because you expose yourself from middle. And he makes it work in here. And look at OpTic going to try to sneak onto Jamie, but Jamie's hitting the shots and quite hit MSL. And OpTic's going to get a bomb down, so this is a little mini win for OpTic. You don't expect to win the round, but you get the bomb down.
Yeah, a little bit messy right at the end, but it's okay. You know, the important thing I would say for a Vanguard is that 4 players survived, because they really keep the integrity. And another important thing is that Buster didn't die, because he is the guy with the weakest economy. Okay, so we are at 11 to 10. Avangar have taken the lead. They've strung together all of their CT rounds so far for a total of 6. And it feels like a very fast 6 rounds, actually. I'm surprised to say it's 6.
Yeah, OpTic's kind of going to their defaults a lot quicker than what Avangar was doing on their defaults. Avangar was taking really sweet. Oh, I like this little head beak over that box because if you're up in catwalk, you're not looking over that box at all. You're looking down lower tunnels. So
yeah, you can't see
that's
that.
That's a
basically
really, really good peak. And teams, you should take note.
I don't know if there's many peaks like that in the game where if someone is doing X and you do that Y, then they literally just die. There's no defense against it.
Yeah, there's very few. There's not that many, and if you find them, they're gold. They can win you some rounds. They can win you some games, especially if other teams don't expect it. You know, that early first pick of the game or the round can be huge sometimes. A nice little execute by OpTic. Molotov, smokes, and flashes, but Jamie, not phased by any of that, gets 1 pick off of Config. So, allows OpTic to plant for catwalk though, knowing that they cannot peek or take long with Jamie posted up with that AWP. But, the bomb's down. OpTic's in post plants. Even though Vanguard has the 1-person advantage, they still got to retake the bomb site.
So fall back, then they're starting to create some space for Vanguard, but I don't know if they have the time here for this, and they need to get some kills right away. And you can see that they understand they're going to start falling back, I think. Yeah, there we go.
Wow.
Okay, OpTic pick 1 up. Got to keep it going though. But one of the key things here though for Avangar is they only lost 2 players, even though they lose the round.
And they got the first pick of the round, and they still weren't able to rotate and retake in time. And that's what's important about this map. This map is really on CT rotations. It can be really a little tricky sometimes because if you come through CT spawn, it's very difficult to look up and try to outshoot T's on the railing and in the bomb site. And you know, once you go up the from CT spawn, you get shot from the back and catwalk and stuff like that. So it's very important to have people along, as you saw at Vanguard, but it was just too slow. They waited way too long, and they did not give themselves enough time to actually properly retake it. And that nade has been just chunking them all day.
Again, that's the second time it's done basically 100 damage. That is amazing to watch.
Here comes another one.
Oh no, 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 no. Oh!
Very good utility work.
Yeah, they are beasting it with these. And it's always Config and Nico because they're the players in the default that go towards Catwalk. But here we go. We get some more damage done towards Long, and it's 4v4. And if James can stay alive here in this and just hold on to position just a little bit longer, his teammates will get into position themselves. I don't know if they've had enough time here because you can see that the pinch is coming. And even though the health is going down very low for all these OpTic players, unless they make a mistake or Fitch can get a couple, I'm not sure about this. They have a lot of money, so I think this is a really good position for them to try to make it happen. They have an incendiary, a smoke, a flash, an HE, a second HE as well. This is actually a great spot for a Vanguard to give this a go. And there it is. One of the HEs will reward them, and that's the AWP gone. That's the most important frag in a situation like this. Get rid of the AWP. But Config's still alive and lurking around. Graffiti goes out into the open, and that is a problem. Refresh in a 1 versus 2 clutch for the first half. He is always good for it, but here at Vanguard, they're successful on the retake. And
great utility work.
That is fantastic. And I have to say, I feel like Avangar, they must have been watching some demos here because, as you said, that HE timing on top mid has been perfect in 2 rounds. And it's done 100 damage, basically, on both those rounds.
141.
And yeah, we should watch out for that timing because if that timing is consistent, unless it could be that OpTic will alter it now that they've been caught by it twice.
Yeah.
But if that timing is consistent, it's always Nico and Config. So it is within that specific default. Then clearly Avangar have been doing their research because otherwise there's no way not all teams have the same timings.
Yeah.
So there's no other reason for it to be the case that they throw it at that time. So I'll be curious to see if they do that again. And the thing is, OpTic is almost encouraged to keep doing that kind of thing because they've been taking Catwalk, they've been getting bombs down, they've been getting afterplants, many of which have been favorable. So
just gotta tighten up a little bit on their post plant, well, at least for that last round. Config not really working with his teammate in that 2-on-2 situation. He got picked off, so kind of want to, even though you started off so hot, you still want to play Team CS. You can't just wide swing everything these days. Sanji. Vanguard making their long presence.
141, the HE again.
Yeah, 141. That's the
141.
time, guys. 141. I'm going to write this down for my notes for later tonight.
That's really cool.
Pugging. I'm throwing that 141 pugs.
So they dodged it this time because they waited a couple seconds. So obviously OpTic have figured this out because, I mean, you kind of have to figure it out. If you're taking 100 damage on 2 players, or between 2 players at the start of your default, yeah, you got to figure that out. So they've figured it out. It would be sick now for Vanguard adjust their timing, delay it a little bit, but we'll see if that develops as James now looks for his picks towards Long. And he's going to peek into MSL just before the flash goes off. Now there's problems here for a Vanguard. They are in hot water as OpTic start to pinch onto the bomb site. And looks like they'll be able to get some kills here, but they are losing the battle overall. Buster and Fitch in a horrible position for this retake. It's not as juicy as before. So now it's we're in an interesting spot because this is what I like about Counter-Strike sometimes. If you get a team like OpTic doing what they're doing and they figure, okay, because it's as we set up, it's like, okay, one of the reasons why it's particularly difficult because they're taking so much utility damage at the beginning of rounds. So this time they are able to avoid that utility damage. They still get into that favorable post plant. So now at Vanguard, they've got to mix something up. And OpTic, in reality, it would be cool for them to just do this again because it's just been working, right? A Vanguard might make an adjustment that might not work. And
Yeah.
that's what I really think in Counter-Strike you should test that.
Mhm.
Because a lot of teams, what they'll do is they'll be like, oh, they figured us out. But you don't know if they have or not. And sometimes teams really mess it up. So I'd be really curious to see OpTic trying this again. Slightly different timing so they don't get caught by pre-nades. As such, you know, the barrels top mid pre-nade. And see what happens. See if the Vanguard can make an adjustment. Maybe OpTic will change it up, though. We'll see.
We'll see in Vanguard. See if they change stuff up. Maybe they'll do a boost catwalk. Haven't seen too many boost catwalk plays in terms of head stacks on the catwalk for lower tunnels and stuff like that. I'm a fan of that. But, I mean, again, OpTic's not sending many people out lower. Nico, again, going through the pit, flashes over from OpTic. Now, OpTic does have entire control of long. And Vanguard has to respect that. So, what's the play? The opponents have long, maybe take over middle, maybe take over catwalk. You don't want to just sit and spawn, sit in A, and just let OpTic pinch you in those situations. So,
Yeah, you're right. It is really worrying right now that they don't have catwalk or long.
but I don't think anyone's going up catwalk just yet. So, fortunately, they don't have that pressure applied to them.
I think you know. I wonder if OpTic expected a catwalk pressure or aggression at the beginning of the rounds as the adjustment of Vanguard and expecting to get long for free, because they did get long for free, and Vanguard now have catwalk. But look at this, just a contact walk as close as they can get towards the bomb site before throwing down the nades. It's a good HE damage again coming in from the likes of Avangar, and this is backfired massively for OpTic. They're walking into the blender. Sliced and diced. Fresh sashimi for everyone.
Where's the flashes? Like where are the flashes from OpTic? I guess they don't have many at this point. They have 4. They have 4, but still, there's none being thrown over the wall. I mean, these people are just sitting in the site. As we talked about earlier, you got to make people uncomfortable in their spots. And I mean, they know you're long. You're throwing a bunch of smokes. There's no point in just holding on to them if, you know, in the spot like that where people are in the site, they're looking down at you. A couple pop flashes, get some blindness, or make them move at least to where they can't just sit there and just hold mouse 1.
So 141, any HE? No, we didn't get it last round either. So both of Avangar and OpTic in that last round sort of anticipating, you know, a mix-up. And here's that boost you're talking about before. And there it is. He's just just helpless. Nothing you can do.
Just did not expect it. Yeah, but now he's not going to sit in that spot again, probably, or at least be looking for it. So here comes one of the mind games. Do you do it again? Do you do the opposite because you think he's going to, you know, that's the fun part about it. But
and Vanguard going for gambles there. They're sort of stacking towards B, which is really interesting because once you've cleared catwalk and got a kill there, sometimes it feels really good to go towards B because you don't have to worry about any fast flank from Cat, and that's one of the ways CTs can have a good result.
what the heck?
With
He
the
peeked an ult?
AWP.
What?
Was he even scoped in? I wonder if it was a quick scope or what that was. But
I think it was a quick scope. I don't know. I didn't hear a scope.
And they're actually going towards B. This is exactly what Avangar wanted. They gamble stack towards this bomb site after losing man catwalk. It's a risk, but it's paying off here because they have all the players in position. Buster gets another one. And you know what? OpTic must be thinking, what the hell's going on? Why are there so many players here?
I bet you they're so confused.
Keycut figures it out and gets that last kill. 14-12. Avangar really outplayed OpTic in that round, even though they lost the first pick.
I can't believe they guessed that right. Like the one time OpTic hits B or like tries to hit B in mid split, you have so many people from Vanguard stacked in B.
So
when you've been hitting A so many rounds in a row.
So one thing I could suggest that might be the case that is there for Vanguard to figure that out. If they were watching the demos of OpTic, and it could be that they have a read that when OpTic get a pick on catwalk, they like going B splits. You know, that could be part of it.
Yeah.
Wow, look at all this utility on catwalk. Fast pressure here. This is a different round from OpTic as well. So sort of testing Avangar in as many ways as they can.
Just the round you want to do it though. It's a 14-12, and right now you kind of stuck on catwalk. You have to wait the smokes, and no, config gets spammed through the smoke. Very risky play to try to, I guess, try to spam an offer through the smoke, and MSL can Sanji and even back up to 4-on-4. This actually gives OpTic a little bit of an edge here. This map is, as we talked about rotations, you're going to have to do something. Fitch is doing that. He's doing that something. He's taking lower tunnels, making sure that if B is clean, a Vanguard can start rotating, stacking towards A, but no, Keycurve gets taken out by refresh. I think they know that they have to be hitting A at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Moving quickly up, and that's so important. That actually allows us to go on. If Refresh gets that 1v1, I don't think this run works for a Vanguard, but this boost for James is... Oh, how does that miss? How did that miss? That's insane. It looks so on. Buster will pick up the AWP, but I don't know how they get in now. You can see they're falling back. Their money sucks, but they have to fall back.
Save. They have to save.
Oh, wow. That looked completely on.
Yeah,
what happens?
Yeah, CSGO. I'm assuming he moved a little bit. That's while he was hopping up. Maybe he made a footstep. I don't know. Sometimes happens.
I really think they win the round if he gets that kill, because I think he died to that guy he was shooting, right? So, and he got the first shot off. That would have been a 3 versus 2. They wouldn't have traded that kill, I don't think. That allows Fitch to come in, and as Fitch comes in from Catwalk, then they can press up together in crossover and just pinch the players, and there's, at that point, a very hard spot for OpTic to deal with.
Yeah.
So that's a really important one for OpTic. Wow. That's definitely quite the gift. Because James he's been pretty steady, you know. He's 21 for 13.
He's been in the right spot, right time a lot of these rounds. His position and utility has been pretty stellar this game, and OpTic gonna try to get a fast pick long, and MSL showing up towards the end here. Get entry picks. That's a huge one to start off, especially against Sanji, which maybe people consider could be their next best player. And when I say people, I mean me.
The most important people. So this is a similar one for OpTic. We saw that very fast cat take before. And different gamble here, because Buster's pushing the upper dark. Or was he spotted? Did he make a step?
He heard him.
Okay, if he lets him pass, that could be genius! Ooh, he plays it safe. Doesn't get both, but he plays it safe. He stays alive, gets smoked off. Teammates will need to rotate, but there's a lurk being set up in mid.
This isn't good for Vanguard now. There's no one in B.
MSL is in mid. He's actually fallen back away from it. He's opened up middle. And the... Whoa!
What?
How is no one dying right there? How does no one die? One of them. Somebody. Everyone's alive somehow. I don't get it, but the round is still very on for both sides. I think there's a solid shot for a Vanguard here. Look at this upper dark hold from OpTic, because they know Buster's there. They've re-smoked this off like 3 times or something. And
I don't think they have a chance now.
this is another one of those rounds where it's just crazy, because Buster... So there's a world where Buster gets the 2 kills, I think, honestly. And then there's a world where, well, we should be in that world. We should be living in the reality where MSL died. And that's a 3 versus 2, you know, there. And that's sort of a 3 versus 4, and they absolutely go for the retake. Or even if MSL doesn't die, it's still a 3 versus 3, where there might not even be enough smokes to hold Buster off forever. You know, there's so many things that could have happened. But instead, we go 14-14, and there's enough weaponry saved here in the 3 players for a Vanguard that they get another full buy-in. So this roller coaster, this ride, it doesn't stop just yet.
Yeah, and Buster, I mean, there's also another option, as you saying at the time, is hiding and letting them run through and tell your teammates, hey, they're going B right now, and then you can backstab them at a really early timing than probably what they expect, because they just came from tunnels to take B. And so, a bunch of ways that could have happened in some reality. OpTic going for that pick again. Don't fool me twice. Config really slowed. He's 25 and 23 now. I think he started off, what, like 20 and 5 or something? I don't know. He was popping off, but Vanguard kind of slowed him down, pushed him back, and now OpTic getting their way up towards Catwalk. Sanji holding that long down. Snappy, though. Just trying to purposely make noise, just jumping around. Trying to keep these people long A, so interesting. Ooh, this is going to be a fake mid-split to A. Which might not work if they're long.
Interesting. Very different route here from both teams. James, very important kill. Nice headshot. Puts the smoke on the cross to allow him more space to work with, and they'll go for a short plant. Now, interestingly, there's no one really deep on short, so it might not be too hard for the B players to get up there. But as I say that, we do now start to see the rotation down onto short from OpTic. They know they must hold this against the B players. But that splits off players on the site, which allows the long players to start pressing on the site whilst this fight's going on. But it ends so fast that those cat players can start to help out the site. And that might be a problem here. Fish needs to win the frags, but he can't. And OpTic with 15. But I don't know if there's any money here for a Vanguard. They are, for the first time in this half, broke. And it's on the 30th round.
That's so unfortunate. Fortunate for Vanguard, and also again, Vanguard coming out with that long pick by Jamie again, and they still somehow can't retake the bomb site or even capitalize on winning the round. So if Vanguard loses this match, they have to watch this replay and come up with a long A retake, because what they've been doing has not been working. OpTic's been abusing that. They're taking cat, they're planting the bomb, and they're winning the round. So Vanguard's getting close. They're getting the first pick. They're just not, I guess, closing out on the round.
Yeah, it's something which is quite interesting because it's so marginal. All these spots are so marginal. Like, if for example the B players just get a kill, just get a kill on catwalk. If the fight isn't over in like 2 seconds, which it was a very quick fight. They're much slower to rotate back from cat onto the site. More time for a Vanguard. It's just there's so many small marginal situations in this game. It's one of the things that makes Counter-Strike particularly fun, and you don't always get it in all CS games, but in this game I think we've had a lot of spots which have been really marginal. Have to see if they can make things better here with the force buy. I mean, at this point it's impossible to predict.
Yeah, with double scouts, I mean, seen crazy stuff happen before with scouts. I mean, OpTic is looking really good right now. It's about 3 or 4 of them just kind of crunched up in the middle, making noise. OpTic's being loud now. It's going to alert a Vanguard to rotate, or actually not at all. Vanguard's going to start to stack long in this situation. This B split's going to work out beautiful. Vanguard has no position to contest this. And this B guy, who's in B alone? Who is it? Oh, Jamie. Feel sorry for you right now. You are going to get overrun. And Snappy gets the flank. And just like that, Jamie gets taken out as well as Buster.
Wow. And this is incredible too, because again, if we look at the first half, what it took for OpTic to get this far, it really required some special moves from Config. And because of that performance, they find themselves here, about to take map 1. Fitch, it's 1v5. I feel confident to say it is impossible. It is over. This map is done. He's just sitting here.
He's not even going for it.
I know, right? It's a bit weird that he's not just going and dying, because they're going to win the game now. Why is he saving? Do he want one less death statistic? I don't know. Maybe he wants more ADR. Everyone from OpTic dies. But there it is.
What they're saying. Save for last round.
16-14. OpTic steal it away from a Vanguard. A Vanguard were looking very strong, even though they had a horrible first half. By notion of plays like this from Config, incredible stuff.
Oh my goodness,
on this
that shot.
site
Give me
and on
this
this
config.
one. It was the case that they stayed focused. They were unfazed by such a horrible start, and they almost brought it back. And it was only so many marginal situations that just at the end swung towards OpTic that they were able to concede this match. So I feel like a Vanguard probably win this Dust 2 most of the time.
I think so too, and OpTic really kind of played, as you said, Config played really out of his mind the first 10 rounds or whatnot. And again, the second day in a row, we see OpTic on Dust 2 and not really do too hot on their T side. It seems like it's been CT sided maps these last few days on Dust 2, which is kind of unusual. Usually it's not easy to get 9 to 10 rounds on your CT side because it's so easy for the Ts to exploit the rotations and stuff like that.
And the nade work here from Avangar was amazing. I think we could see that Avangar, as expected, is a studied team. I think they were trying to abuse some of the timings of the default of OpTic. I think that has to be the case because of the precision we saw from Avangar and the confidence. And I love that back and forth between these two teams, seeing one another adjust to how they were, one another was playing. And again, it will be OpTic that will take this one, and we're about to see the statistics, and we can go over some of the individual performances. Obviously, we talk a lot about Config in that first half. He was crazy, but he wasn't really nearly as present on the T side. It wasn't until right at the end that we started to see Config turning up a bit more. But it was all about the CT side, and he made the CT side look a bit like a T side.
Yeah.
With his aggression.
Just running around headshotting people across the map with an AK on CT side. Why not?
And there it is, over 3,000 damage for Config. Remarkable performance from him. And we can see MSL down at the bottom there. And Orpa, by name and traits now in this team, that's his role, and not finding the mark too much. But alternatively, James, who is a dedicated Orpa for Avangar with excellent performances, knew just when to go aggressive, when not to, just as you actually highlighted. And I think anything else that stands out to you?
I mean, as we talked, Vanguard is their map to lose, and they just have to kind of figure out a better A retake. They get the picks, they get the first picks in these rounds, and they just can't capitalize on maybe finding the right routes or timings to really pinch the A retake together, because it does take a lot of coordinations, throwing flashes, and let long peek first and then the cat come through, or maybe hey cat guys, you peek first and then we'll come through. So it's a lot of just kind of like dancing,
It was like dancing. What do you think about the next map? Where you stand?
I don't know. Is that a word I can say? I can't say that now?
No, you can't. You can say it. You can say, you know what? These teams played really close. At this point, it's tit for tat. We see a lot of research from Avangar. It's hard to predict because of that. It's almost like we're getting these specific mind games in a vacuum.
Way to say it, but
and that makes it even more unpredictable. Config, will he go off again? If he doesn't, who knows? All right, guys, we'll throw it to a break. We'll be right back for the second map in this series. Okay.
No, we're not going for a break.
We're
here.
going to keep filling.
Okay, actually, it says, okay, so on momentum-based, I guess mentality-based, Avangar, I mean, I'm sure they felt like they should have won the map. Those kind of situations where it slips out of your hands. So when you come to the next map, they might be a little more, I guess, sure to dot the I's, cross the T's, and stuff like that, so they don't get 2 on forward or whatever on pistol round and stuff like that, or give up post plants, or have the advantage of getting the kill and then just somehow still losing the round because they're taking too long, or they're just kind of discombobulated on the retakes.
Yeah, it was an interesting dynamic for me to see how, like, as we mentioned, with Config and his impact, Config could have that impact on the T side as well as the CT side if Avangar would have let him. It's one of those situations where Config has to play within this system that MSL has, and within that system, he's going to have some of those hard-hitting roles, but I think the utility usage was really strong for Avangar, as we talked about, and that's one of the reasons why they're a really effective team. And we were talking about this yesterday, the very fact that we're in this era of Counter-Strike where ENTs, the ENT storyline doesn't just have to be ENTs. There can be many different ENTs that can appear. You got Alu, who just obviously, when he sort of dropped out of the top scene, sure, he's an incredibly tenured and experienced AWP player at that point, but no one would have said, oh, Alu, in conversation for top 3 AWPs in the world or something like that. He wasn't someone that was so remarkable in that way. But what he was able to do was he was able to bring his experience to that team, and then found a bunch of youngsters. They just worked hard. Worked hard behind the scenes, grinded it out for a year, and boom, there they are. Are they known for having incredible individuals? Well, yes, sure, some of their individuals are pretty damn good, but it's actually that they've been so heavily enabled by the team play within that system, and that they've got good chemistry and so on, and good work ethic, that really is what shines, and there's no reason why we can't see that from any other teams, and we're starting to see it more and more.
Yeah, you kind of hit it right there. They worked hard, and they achieved some of their goals, and as a team, history is not written in stone. Like, we don't know what's going to happen in the future. Who knows? Maybe a team will come up that we never heard of, start dominating. I mean, it's unlikely, but it's possible. If you put in the work, you do your research, and practice hard, people will, see that, and it can happen. It's happened before.
Yeah.
One of those stories, kind of like way back in the day. It's happened to me once.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, if you're a team that does study your opposition, it's not just like you're studying your opposition and it's this thing that carries over value to winning that one game potentially.
Yeah.
It's something that carries value over to it has a ripple effect because it teaches you more about the game. So, for example, we have those nades going on at that timing on that default. Like that's some research that you're doing to understand the other team, but also what it helps you to understand is actually how much value you can extract from maybe looking at other similar things that generally teams might be doing, or like how can you, how does the utility placement and with the timings when the team's setting up a default, okay, where else can that apply? And you might start, just by going down that avenue of thought and seeing that value, it starts to really allow you to increase your understanding of how the flow of the match works. And if your whole team starts to understand that stuff, now we're starting to grow the understanding of the team to facilitate everyone's growth in their sort of study of the game. Because otherwise, you have this like old Sean Gers problem, right? Where it's like, yes, I'm a really good in-game leader. I can create the best counter strats. I understand all the rotations perfectly. I know the game inside out. But if none of your teammates really understand the like something as basic as rotations, you can't micromanage that. They need to just look at a situation, just know what to do. I
mean, it's in a high level. Everything's so fast. Everyone has crisp aim. Timings have to be almost perfect, and so if you hesitate, you slide. You have to think, oh, hey, what are you doing over there, Jim? It's probably already too late. Who knows?
Right, well, we've been given the permission to throw to a break, so we'll go to a break. We'll be back with map 2 here between Avangar and OpTic. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you very shortly.